It turns out that if people actually had patience, people would have found out really quick that Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, does not have microtransactions. Let's talk about it.
Whoa!
What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and back with a brand new video. So over the past few days, trouble had stirred up in the Crash Bandicoot fanbase. So much in fact that channels that have literally hundreds of thousands of subscribers had started to report on it. Even channels that I watch and respect, like Review Tech USA, Dreamcast Guy, and Jim Sterling. Here's what happened and the conclusion to it all. There was something that fans had noticed on the Xbox purchase page that made everyone jump to conclusions faster than me jumping on new footage for Crash or Spyro. On the page, it said, quote, in-app purchases. This led everyone to gasp and whisper the biggest sin in the gaming industry to many: microtransactions. Hysterics started to sweep through the fanbase, people canceling their pre-orders, started useless change.org petitions, and of course, tweeting out as many angry thoughts as possible, all in attempts to boycott the game. Now, I was asked myself many times on Twitter what my thoughts were, as well as my own YouTube comments, and honestly, I was just confused. The thing is that the label contains in-app purchases doesn't just apply to microtransactions, but applies to a wide spread of things. If the app requires you to purchase an online subscription to be able to access 100% of all contents of the game, then that would be an in-app purchase. If the game is planned to have future DLC and is known to the third party, that's an in-app purchase. If the game has a digital deluxe edition that gives more than just the base edition of the game and gives you the option to upgrade, that's also an in-app purchase. Yet a lot of people just jumped the gun and automatically assumed that it was a microtransaction. Now, here was another interesting fact. Even though the Xbox version said that there would be in-app purchases, PlayStation's page said nothing of any sort of a transaction at all outside of just buying the game. Just the base game and nothing more. To give a comparison, here is the PlayStation page for CTR, which does have microtransactions in the form of Wumpa coins, and in two spots, it lets you know, clear as day, that there are in-app purchases. So why was it that one console distributor was saying that there was some form of transactions in Crash 4 and the other was saying that there wasn't? Obviously, there was a miscommunication somewhere. This is not the first time third parties have messed up. Remember how CTR was labeled to be on Windows for tech support a month or so back? We thought that that meant that a PC version was coming, myself included, but we haven't heard anything about it yet. However, over the past few days, I have been saying the exact same thing over and over and over again. Let's wait for context. We don't know what it meant. If the only two console distributors for this game are having completely different opinions, then obviously there's a problem somewhere and we shouldn't assume the worst. Most people actually agreed with this and they all thought that we should wait and see. But of course, there were still a few people who still wanted to stir the pot and cause trouble. But news began to spread more and more, and YouTube channels, both big and small, turned something that we were waiting for more information on into hit piece after hit piece after hit piece for Crash 4 and rocking more of the boat, which didn't help the situation, especially because they were only reading headlines and looking at the Xbox purchase page and not looking at PlayStation's and asking the question as to why they didn't match. But then, on June 31st, Toys for Bob came forward with this tweet to stop the freaking out, to stop people losing their minds, to make the situation, I suppose you could say, crystal clear. Anyway, here's the quote. We're seeing confusion about microtransactions in Crash Bandicoot 4 and want to be crystal clear. There are no microtransactions in Crash 4. As a bonus, the totally tubular skins are included in all digital versions of the game. Boom, boom, and boom. The game has no microtransactions whatsoever. All the panic, all the hysterics, all the melodramatic stupidity is seemingly over. We can move on from the silliness, right? Well, I thought so, but there were a few more people that still had issues in terms of trust by bringing up what happened leading up to the launch of CTR. Back when CTR was doing its public demo rounds and at E3 and during an interview with an employee at the events, there was a bad case of journalism. From what I gathered, the source of the statement of there being no microtransactions in CTR stems from the Screen Rant article where it claims that, quote, despite featuring online content and DLC plans for the future, all of Nitro Fueled is microtransaction free. In a sit-down presentation and hands-on during E3 2019, a member of the Nitro Fueled team stated that the entire game would avoid microtransactions, instead offering new content for free during the game's lifecycle. Seems pretty clear, right? Except that wasn't exactly the question that was asked. The question at the time was asked as, will there be paid DLC in the context of how the Grand Prix would work? And the answer was no, there would not be any paid DLC. Now this statement was true, but that led to the assumption that there would be no microtransactions in general, which was not true. Take a look at this WCCF Tech article where they actually review the game and give their first impressions a few days before the game launches. A fresh Grand Prix will drop every few months, with each offering an all-new track inspired by Crash's classic platformers and a series of challenges spread throughout the game. Complete these challenges and you can earn Nitro, which can be traded in for various cosmetics. If this sounds like a setup for microtransactions, don't worry, there won't be any at launch, although Beanox say they may evaluate adding them later. So once again, they are claiming here that there could be microtransactions added later on in the game's life cycle. So it was never 100% confirmed that there were no microtransactions whatsoever. Now here's the thing, this statement of there being no microtransactions in the game is coming directly from Toys for Bob, the developers of the game, saying that there will be no microtransactions whatsoever. Not from a reporter, not from a misguided quote, not from a rumor, directly from the source itself as a statement on Twitter. The past few days has been a stressful crap show, but I am happy to say that we can move on from this. If there is any lesson to take away from all of this, it's that content creators, myself included, I'm not pointing fingers at everyone else, I'm also pointing at myself. We should wait for context, ask questions, and do research. Sometimes all it takes is a little cross-referencing to see if a story or concept has holes in it. I would rather be late and correct with my video than early and wrong.
A huge thank you to all those who support the channel through Patreon and being a sponsor on the channel. If you'd like to help it out, check out the links in the description below, where you can buy some CGE merch or become a Patreon. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming and nostalgic content. Thank you so much everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.